Hey, welcome in. How's everybody doing? I hope I can do this live without sniffing or all of that kind of stuff. I took an antihistamine. Been trying to ward off evil stuff trying to come on. Good evening. Hey, Bridget. How you doing this afternoon? Welcome over. Oh, you were? Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I was wondering if anybody was enjoying the music. Um, I call myself trying to play it like late at night to try to keep the third shifters entertained. But I think I made a mistake last night and it was on private, and so it really wasn't getting out. It was just getting more so to my people that was subscribed to the channel. So that could have been one thing. And then two, today it was, I made sure it was on public, but not that many people were tuning in. Not on the replays, to get more on the replays. Uh, um, and then of course YouTube sent me a copyright, but it wasn't a strike. It was just saying that they interrupted part of my live, which I don't. Well, I won't know if they did or not. But I do know my power company interrupted me doing one of my halfway through my jam session when I was almost toward the end of it. And so I had to start it back up. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. I was just wondering if anybody was enjoying the music, whether they were enjoying the old school blues R&B, or were they enjoying the old school rap skating ring music. So anyway, my hand is like this, y'all. I told the story many a times. Is when I used to sit on my aunt porch with her in the country, and people would pass in front of the house over and over and over. And so instead of her keep waving at people like "Hey" and all of that, she just put her face on her hand like this, and that meant that when they passed by, she already was saying hi. I was just being silly. I just be being silly when I come on here. Welcome in, everybody. Hey, loving my grandsons, how you doing? Thank you for coming back over. Can someone do me a favor and go on one of my highlights? And I have the number 666 on there. Can somebody go and like it or view it so that it can get me off the 666? I know 666 can be a bad number. Uh, I'm not a superstitious person, but I know it's in the Bible about the 666. So if someone could go over to my live, it's a highlight, and I saw it, and it was on 666, and I said I was gonna ask somebody to go over there, look at it, and maybe they can get it off the 666. If not, somebody's gonna view it, and they will get it off 666 eventually. Um, so y'all borrow your husband's phones, your boyfriend's, your children's phone, and go on there and go on YouTube and hit Classy Ladies page so that I can get my views and I can get subscribed to my page. They don't have to look at me or nothing like that. But hey, just tell a friend to tell a friend to get me on up there. This is my fourth week running. I'm just shy of 200 new subscribers. I would like to be at 200 because yesterday made my fourth week. So I would like to try to average 200 a month. That would be great. That would get me closer to the 1,000 mark. If I get at least 1,000 hours per month by my birthday in April, that will get me to 4,000. Again, I am not on here to right now, be happy to get extra money, but right now that's not the goal or the main focus, because if it was, I would be on here 3 and 4 times trying to get it up, trying to run it up, and trying to get my page doing whatever I could to get it up. Last night was the first time that I went over to my Facebook personal page and asked some of my friends and family to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which a lot of them don't know what happens over here on YouTube. And I kind of want to keep that separate. because I do have a lot of people that respect me and I respect them. And y'all know how things could get over here on YouTube. So I'm trying not to go in that direction on YouTube. But if I get pulled to the left, well, that's the left, my left. If I happen to get pulled to that side, I don't want somebody on here really viewing me having to go there. But hey, things happen. That's not my intentions, but things happen. So if you're new to my channel or you just not viewing my channel, I always give you heads up with skip the first 5 minutes of me coming on. That would put you right about the time that I will start my actual live, start talking about things, having conversation, chit chat, and we discuss things that's going on the channel. So if you're new to my channel, I would appreciate if you do subscribe to me so that you'll know when I come on. You'll get heads up. You can come on, tune in. If you want to engage in the conversation, you can. If you don't, you can just listen. But I really would like some feedback and engagement in the lives so that we can keep the conversation going if I don't necessarily have a particular subject to talk about. Hit the thumbs up button. You may have three dots in your right hand corner. You can hit that. Some say you could double tap the screen, or you may have like a thumbs up button on your original screen. So with that being said, I did say I was going to come on at 9 o'clock. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started with my content. Welcome, Miss Bridget. Welcome, loving my grandsons. Caden Hightower. Oh, no, Caden, you're on the wrong channel. I won't shut up, old lady. You're probably a miserable man, woman, child, whatever. No, I won't shut up. I'll leave you here. And if you get too out of hand, you will be banned from the channel. Welcome in, Easton. How you doing? Bless, let me see. Bless divinely. Oh, okay. So it's double tap the screen. I know some of them is double tap the screen. YDWTP, you said what your name was on Trina channel, and I heard of you before, but I can't remember what your initials stand for. Hey Trina, how you doing? Hey y'all. Hey Gloria Wiley, welcome over y'all. Thank y'all for coming over. Did I ever tell y'all about the time that I got locked out of my house? Well, it wasn't actually at my house. I was living in an apartment, and I think I had gotten married. And this is why a lot of times it pays to mind your own business and to stay in your own business. Well, a good friend of mine, her and her husband, we were actually I met her through work. And then in turn, me and her would go out and we met her husband. Well, she was actually dating a man, and he would always call me his wife, his second wife. All right. So then when I met my husband, uh I introduced my husband to that couple, and we all became friends. Okay. So me and my husband, we kind of kept our stuff. We didn't really, disclose that with our friends and stuff. Sometimes, you talk a little things with your friends and stuff like that. Hey, it's Granny, how you doing? We talk a little stuff with your friends and stuff, but you try not to indulge too much with couples, because they be talking, and then next thing you know, the man go back and tell the other man, or the woman tell, it gets kind of ugly. So my friend them, um they would like to drink, and so did my husband and stuff. I was the If we all went out, or say like when we went to the casino, I was the designated driver, because they already knew that, oh, she ain't gonna drink, we could have us a good time or whatever. So this particular time, my girlfriend and her husband was having some little issues, which I knew it wasn't that big. At times they would have little, spats and stuff like that. So this one particular time they got into it or whatever. And she he was talking crazy about going out or whatever. And I think he went out to have some drinks. And I think, I don't know if my husband went out with him. No, my husband didn't go out with him. I think they talked on the phone. My husband was at work. But my girlfriend was mad at her husband because he had went out to a sports bar and was having some drinks. And oh, he don't need to think he gonna go somewhere, and I'ma stay at home, and I'ma go out, and I'ma show him, and I'ma da 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 da. So I'm like, girl, she was talking some mad cash money stuff. And I was like, girl, you don't need to be doing all that. It's not that serious. Oh yeah. He just think he gonna just do what he want to do and treat me wrong. Well, not so much treat her wrong. They gotten into a little argument or whatever. I don't know what it really was. I don't really know what it was about, but they had gotten into it. So I called myself being a friend. She was going out to this club, and I knew that even if she didn't flirt with me, and men were gonna flirt with her. So I know when people could get to drinking and stuff like that, they could kind of do some little stuff they don't have no business, and it'd go a little bit further than it should. And you're mad for a minute, and then after that, you're not mad. You go home, and then you done forgot what you did the night before. So I call myself gonna go out with her to be the mediator so she wouldn't get in trouble. So I got dressed. My husband wasn't at home yet and whatever. So um I called myself going out with her. No, my husband did go out and meet his friend. Yes, he did. He did go out and meet her husband. And they was out, at the, bar, whatever, whatever. And me and her went to another hole in the wall. BYOB. That's what they call them. It's hole in the wall, but you call it BYOB. Bring your own bottle in case anybody don't know that. So I call myself going out with her to keep the peace and to make sure I'm kind of like holding her hand because she was older than me. So I'm little sister. So I'm calling myself gonna make sure she don't do nothing. She don't have no business. All right, we go out, and I'm peeping the play and to make sure that he couldn't say you went out and you was out there with a man or you met a man or whatever. No, she wasn't with no man. She was with me because I was with her. And y'all know I'm not gonna do no drinking and all that. At the BYOB places, I did a wine cooler. I would drink wine coolers. Uh and I would have wine coolers. They would be coming, and I would maybe drink one, two, maybe three at the most. And the rest of them, at the time, I have a purse. I'd be sticking them in my purse till when I come home, I got maybe a 4 to 6 pack of wine cooler that I done got out the club in my purse because I wasn't drinking them as far as they were sending them over. Well, so we get to the club. Hey, God's chosen one. Yeah. So we having a good time. Oh, we dancing, boy, we having a good time. So I come home to the apartment, and my husband got there before I did. And I was like, oh Lord, because I knew that he had been out with her husband, and they have a bottle and they had been drinking. Well, I said, oh Lord, because he made it there before me. And I really had an intent on staying out there late. But it wasn't gonna be no problem with me and my husband because I already knew he was gonna be asleep. So I get home, put my key in the lock. Click, click, pushing on the door. Door wouldn't open. I'm looking at my keys. Now I know I ain't drunk. I'm looking at my keys. Well, this the right key. Stick it in the lock again. Clink, clink. Door wouldn't open. I said, I know this Negro don't have that second lock on the door. No, I know he don't have that second lock on the door. Tried it again. Clank, clank. I say, that's exactly what it is. He didn't lock the regular lock. Plus, he didn't lock the double bolt lock. Now, if y'all remember me saying the other day how my husband snored, he slept real hard and he snored. I'm knocking on the door. Boom, 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 boom. Nothing. Boom, 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 boom. Nothing. Boom, 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 boom. At least I thought I was banging hard. Nothing. I say, God, dog. Pick up my cell phone. Calling. Ring, ring, ring. Cell phone in the front room. I could hear the phone ringing. Nothing. Phone wrong, wrong, wrong. I said, well, maybe he's sleeping on the sofa, which that's a lot of stuff that he would normally do. He sleep on the sofa a lot of time. Well, not sleep on the sofa away from me, but fall asleep on the sofa and then get in the bed later. So I could hear the phone ringing. So I'm ringing the phone, ringing the phone. He not answering. I'm steady trying to get in. Nothing. So here I go. Y'all remember me telling y'all about that man at the window with that ladder? Here I go over to the window. I had to go behind the shrubbery to get to the window. At that time, I don't know if any of y'all remember blue. Not necessarily blue, but suede shoes. When the suede shoes and the suede suits and all that was out. Well, I had on me a cute pair of suede raw blue pumps. I get trying to go around the shrubbery to get to the window. My foot starts sinking. Where did it sink at? In some mud. Oh, I got instantly, I got mad then. I wasn't mad before because he wasn't opening the door. I got mad then. My shoes then got in the mud. So I'm hearing at the window. Beep, 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 beep. He ain't say nothing. I'm like, God, leave now. I'm going to have to go to my parents' house. Beep, 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 beep. So about the third time, what you want? He thinking I'm in the house. And I'm like, open the door. Open the door. I'm outside. He like, what you want? I say, unlock the lock. This man then went back to sleep. I say, Lord have mercy. How long am I going to be outside before this man finally decides to open the door? I'm banging. What you want? Open the door. What? Open the front door. It took me 30 minutes to get my own doggone house. He finally woke up enough to understand what I was saying and come to the window. He came to the window to look out the window. And I said, open the door. Take the lock. You lock the other lock. So he come to the door. He half asleep. I'm sorry. I was like to myself, God be good. Took me on this. Then to add insult to injury, I had to take my shoes off at the front door. Looked at my blue suede shoes, full of mud. Boy, I was hotter than fish grease. I was mad. But I couldn't get mad at nobody but myself because I'm trying to be a good friend to keep y'all from doing something, keep you from doing something you ain't had no business. And I thought we was just going to go out for a little bit. And when I kept telling you, let's go, no, you want to still stay out there. But my husband and her husband had then already left. So I really was trying to beat him home because I knew if he got home before me, well, not necessarily knowing that he was going to lock the door, but I still was just trying to get home before he got home. Because going out, at that time, I just didn't want to do it since we wasn't out going out as a couple. Child, that's why you got to mind your own business sometime. I got locked out of my own house, and I couldn't get in my own house with my own key. Got my foot stuck in the mud. It took me, I think I had to take my shoes, end up taking them to the shoe shop to get them clean. I get in the house to let her know I'm okay. guess where they used to like to leave their house and go lay up at the motel with the jacuzzi in the room. This particular motel that they used to go to, they had jacuzzis in there, and it would be in the middle of the room. They behind got them some champagne and all of this because they kept alcohol at the house. They get them some champagne and they done checked into the motel, and they they done made up all up in the hot tub and all this kind of stuff. And I'm fuming behind my blue shoes. I say, this is why you stay your behind out of people's business. I promise you, from that day forward, they had little spats like that, and she would do stuff like that. And you want to go? No, sure don't. I say no, because the last time I went with you, trying to keep you, out of some trouble or whatever, I say my shoes got messed up. I say you never offered to get them clean. You never offered to pay for them or nothing. I say then y'all call me an hour later, whatever, because you knew I was still up. And I say, and you wanted to just make sure I made it home. And y'all all up at the motel in the hot tub or in the jacuzzi having a good time. Y'all done made up. I say, no, no, I don't want to go no more. So from that day forward, when we wasn't all together, I didn't even worry about it. No, I'm not gonna even get off into that. I ain't getting into y'all business. Sure not. Y'all go right ahead on. Y'all can fuss and argue all y'all want to. I won't be there. I sure won't. I won't be there to help y'all, get it together. But that's what happened when you get in other people's business. Hey, ADHD, how you doing? Welcome over. Yeah, that's what happens when you get in other people's stuff trying to be good or whatever. But yeah, they used to love to go to the hole in the wall or the BYOB places and stuff like that. I didn't have a problem with it, but because I was, if we went with them, now they was on their own because we were going our own separate cars, but I was responsible for us. I knew that I wasn't gonna let my husband drive me home or whatever. So I wasn't worried about that part. So they had to worry about them trying to get themselves home or whatever, because I wasn't trying to do all of that. But when we would go to the casino, we would go in Lake Charles. We would go at that time, it was Players Casino, and I forgot the other one. But Players Casino was one of them, and we would go to. It was on the water, the boats and stuff, the boats on the water. And here we go with this couple again. So we both went in separate cars, and we had gotten hotels in Sulphur. And then what we would do was get in one car and drive to the casino. So that particular time we went to the casino, I wasn't really feeling well. But we had gotten down to the casino, and I had kind of started feeling bad. So we went to the buffet. They used to have real good buffets, and we had gotten there on a Friday night, and they had seafood buffet. So we went to the buffet and we ate, and my husband them, men, they like to um had a little flask and all that with they little whatever they like to drink or whatever. And so we valet parked and stuff. And you don't really need to bring that in there, because as long as you plan, at that time they was coming around, and back then they was you would put actually putting the coins in there, and the coins would have your hands just as black or gray from that metal. And they always had those little those wipes and stuff. And then you back then you pulled the handle down. They still have some machines now that you actually pull the handles, but now it's not as fun to me just hitting a button. Even though they stopped putting the coins in there, I still used to like to say how many I wanted to play and then pull the handle. That was the fun part, pulling the handle at the casino. So we was back then going to the casino. So we was at one of those casinos, and we had went and we ate in the buffet, and we was eating crab legs and all that stuff back then. And we finished that, and we went to gamble and stuff like that. Now my friend's husband knew how to play the tables. And that's how he would do good on the tables. And we would play the slots. And we played the slots and stuff like that. And oh, they had got, they had got good and wasted, because when we went to the casino, we was in one car. We went in my car, and uh I think I drove there. Yeah, I did drive there, because they had already had started at the hotel. They had already started getting fired up. So I drove to the casino from Sulphur to New to Lake Charles. And like I said, we had went in there, we ate buffet, that we ate crab legs was the most stuff that we ate, and baked potato and steak and stuff like that. We played, we played. Okay, it was time to go home. They good and lit. Not me, because I knew somebody had to drive back. So we come on out, and the valet driver gets, bring the car up. We tip the guy, and my husband goes to the driver's side. I go to the driver's side. Hey, Amber, blah blah blah. I'm from Texas. I sound country. My parents are from Louisiana, but I'm from Texas. I'm from the United States and from Texas. So anyway, my husband go to the driver's side. I go to the driver's side. So I look at him. Now, oh, I forgot to tell y'all. I'm 5'9". My husband's 6'7". So I look up at him. I said, "Where you going?" He said, "I'm just a driver's back." I say, "No, the hell you ain't." I say, "I'm driving." So I told you, you can get my purse out the trunk. So I told him, "No, you're not driving." So my friends and they get in the back seat, because they don't care who driving. They get in the back seat, and I start to pull off. I asked my husband, "Did you tip him?" He said, "Yeah." So I start to pull off. I say, "Wait a minute." I say, "My purse." So I say, "Can you get my purse out the trunk?" "Well, it's all right in the trunk." I say, "Well, how we know it's in the trunk? We didn't valet. My purse may not still be in the trunk, because I didn't take my big purse with me, and my checks and stuff was in my purse. I had just took some money out of my credit card and stuff out." So he gets my purse, and y'all may think it's petty, but I like my designer purses. I pay good money for my designer purses. And before he got in the car, he took and slung my purse in the car. I'm looking. I'm like, did he just sling my purse in the car? And he get in there. I say, "Did you just throw my Dooney and Burke in the car?" Yeah. I say, "Oh hell. You don't throw, first of all, you don't throw nothing at me, and you don't throw my blank, blank, blankety, blank, blank purse at me in the car. Not my Dooney and Burke." My friend in the back seat said, "Oh Lord." He knew. Baby, that Aries mouth started from Lake Charles, and I was going. Baby, I was cussing him. I was cussing. I cussed from Lake Charles to Suffolk, Louisiana, and that's a good 15 miles. Maybe less, but 12 to 15 miles, maybe more. I cursed him from Lake Charles parking lot all the way to Suffolk, to our hotel room. And he, your mouth. I say, "You don't throw nothing at me, and you sure don't, in hell, don't throw my." I say, "Now, I had already told you I wasn't really feeling well." And I said, "And you knew I wasn't feeling well. Instead of you trying to be attentive to me, you want to commence to show your black in front of our friends." I say, "It ain't no need for that. You don't throw nothing at me. You ain't never did that before." Oh, I was pop, 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 pop. And my friend said, "Oh Lord, Brenda, he get it, he get it, he get it." I say, "I don't give a flap, flap. if he get it, I'm gonna make sure he get it. And my friend hit her husband in the back, said, you shut the hell up. You ain't got nothing to do with it. Well, he got it, baby. She said, you shut your. They went at it in the back seat. Boy, we was double teaming them till we got to Suffolk, till we got to that hotel room, and he gets out the car and slings the seatbelt. You know, sometimes the seatbelt be longer and part of it falls out. Well, with your big long A, the seatbelt flung out the door. You took and you slammed the door. Well, the door hit the seatbelt like bang a lang a lang a lang, and it sounded like the window broke. Y'all, I looked over like this. I thought my window was broke. He called himself walking off, and when he heard it hit that door, he looked back. He didn't know if that window was broke or not. Baby, it was supposed to be 4th of July at that, what was that? At the time, it was at Best Western or the Marriott, what's them little Marriott places? Whatever one of them little places was in Suffolk. Baby, I was supposed to light his A up some more at that hotel. And so when he did that and I look and he come back, I said, you better be glad my blank blank window ain't break. I say, cause baby, it was gonna be some slow walking and sad singing going on around here. So we get out the car, they get out the car, whatever. I go in the room, I'm mad. And he mumbling. I say, what you saying over there? Oh, he just a mumbling, just a mumbling. I say, you better shut your big mouth up talking to me. I say, that's what you better do. And I say, I tell you something better than that. If you bet not go to sleep. That's what you bet not do. You bet not go to sleep. And if you go to sleep, you bet not turn your back to me. I say, because I promise you, you're going to wake up DAD in the morning. I said, you bet not turn your back to me. I said, because I told you I was not feeling well and you want to clown? I said, oh, no, you know you got the wrong one. Rip, 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 rip. My mouth going. He had to leave out the room. He left out the room, and I was mumbling to myself. Then I had to call my mama. I had to decompose. I had to call my mama and tell him how he acted fool or whatever, and what he said and what he did. And my mama said, well, what you do? I say I cussed him from Lake Charles to Suffolk. She say, baby, you know better than that. You know I taught you better than that. Yeah, you taught me better than that. But he clowned in front of somebody, and I clowned him right back in front of somebody. I met him right where he was. I mean, taking that stuff. Because the next thing you know, he'd be trying to go upside my head. And I say that, you know that ain't going. So my friend, they was in their room, and I guess they call themselves taking a nap. And so uh the friend called and he say, where your husband at? I say, I don't know where he at. Child, they went to look for my husband. Poor thing was sleeping out there at the he was sleeping in the pool area. He had been fell asleep at the pool area. He told her, they told, man, come on, go on up there to your room and stuff and go to sleep. You out here sleeping outside by this pool area or whatever. And he told me, no. She told me if I come up there, I better not go to sleep. And I better not sleep with my back turned toward her. She said, because I'm going to wake up DAD. He didn't want to come up there. So they called me. They talk about, is it okay for him to come up to his room? I said, that fool know he can come up to the room and go to sleep. I say I ain't supposed to go to jail in Louisiana fooling with him. I say he know he can come up in this room and go to sleep. And I say, but he better not come in here talking no noise. I know that. So he came up in there and he apologized. He said, babe, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I see you wasn't feeling good, and I should have been more attentive to how you was feeling and what you was feeling and what and I had to get my last say so, and I went off again a little bit. I said, I'm gonna accept your apology this time. I said, don't you ever act a fool in front some other people, and don't think I'm gonna let you get away with it. I said, don't you ever do that no more. I say, because They going on about their business, and here we are acting a fool, and we mad at each other. I say, don't do that. I say, we better than that. I said, we don't act like this. I say, and you know I don't. So, but yeah, that Aries came out of me, and that's he knew when I went off. I used to call it, you getting ready to get your medicine. You're trying me now. You're trying me. You're getting ready to get your medicine. And what your medicine was is when I start, I'm not gonna stop. You know how you start a lawnmower? Hey, hey, hey. You try to start that lawnmower. When you get that lawnmower crunk up, you be trying to put that gas to it so it won't stop. Oh, you had then just put that gas, that pedal to the metal. And when I stop, I stop when I feel I'm tired. I don't stop because you know how when you argue with somebody and you say, if I stop arguing with them, they gonna stop. Now you don't. You can stop all you want to. I'ma still be going 30 minutes later. I'ma stop when I get tired, and then if I think of some more stuff, I'm coming back at you. But he knew that once I got started, I didn't stop. But like I said, I was good. I was a good wife because he could always tell where I was. I was either home, at work, shopping, and when I went shopping, I was buying for him. I was shopping a lot of times for him. Church and bingo, 5 places. You could call me. That's where I was. That was the or he didn't have to call me. We would be together. So any one of them places you could find me at. I'd be out there shopping. I'd tell you where I'm at. Bingo, you knew where the bingo place was because I would always ask you to go with me, but you knew where it was. You could drive in the parking lot and see my car there. Church, my parents' house, or at work. That's one thing. I didn't play. I didn't play. I wasn't a cheating wife. I was a good wife. But when you rub me the wrong way or when you set me off, I'm gone. I done took off. And that mouth is going. And it wasn't clacking no teeth. That's that mouth, what that mouth do. And that mouth would be moving, and baby, I wasn't nothing nice. I still ain't nothing nice. Y'all remember I was making y'all laugh one time on Bama's channel. And some of y'all remember I was saying that I will argue with a stop sign if I know I'm right. He used to get that stop sign all the time, especially when I say you're going to get your medicine. And I would tell him. And one time he asked me, what does that mean when you say you're going to get your medicine? I said, I'm going to go off and I'm not going to stop. And I say, when I go off, I go on and on. I say, I'm like the Energizer Bunny. He said, oh, yeah. He said, yeah. He said, your mouth. He said, yeah, yeah. And my mama used to tease me all the time. She said, girl, that man gonna eat soup off the top of your head. And I say, mama, ain't that much soup in the world for him to sit there and eat soup off the top of my head. I said, I don't care how tall he is. He won't eat soup off of my head. I said, because he went to y'all, you and my daddy, and asked for my hand in marriage. I didn't ask him to marry me. He went to y'all. Now, y'all know people don't hardly do that no more. But back then, 20-something years ago, he went to my parents and asked to marry me. I ain't asked to marry him. I had already made up my mind if I wasn't married by a certain age, I was going to have my house. I'd already drove nice cars and brand new cars. I worked, and baby, I was going to be in travel. So I wouldn't worry about no man and getting married, but he asked my parents to marry me. So since he asked and took that up, I told him yeah. And you know what my dad told him when he asked for my hand in marriage? He said, man, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. My dad was doing this. Now, let me tell you something now. I done raised my daughter. My daughter is grown. I may have whooped my daughter once or twice in her life. And he said, I regret doing that. He said, now I'm tell you something now. My daughter grown now. Let me. I want you to hear what I'm saying now. Hear what I'm telling you. She grown. If you feel you need to put your hand on her, bring her back to me. Bring her back home. You don't put your hand on my child. He said, if you feel you need to put your hand on her, you bring her back to me. That's my child. You don't put your hand on my child. He said, and that's all I'm going to tell you now. That's all I'm going to tell you. You better listen good to me now. You better listen now. My daddy spoke, and that was it. He said, now I'm going to give you her hand in marriage. But I'm going to tell you now. He kept on, my daddy is a repeater. I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to tell you. Don't you put your hand on her now. Don't you put your hand on her. It's going to be hell to pay. It's going to be hell to pay. Don't you put your hand on her. And I was like, oh, Lord, Daddy, he hear you. He hear you. He hear you. But yeah, my mom would always say, that man going to eat soup off your head. I said, Mama, ain't that much soup in the world. I said, ain't that much soup in the world. And I only got mad at my husband really one time. Well, I say twice. One time, I'll tell y'all about it later. But one time, I don't know what we had gotten into an argument about. And we was arguing. And I went on I said to myself, you know what? This ain't even worth arguing over. So I went on and I went in the closet. I had the mail on the bed. I had the mail on the bed. And I said, this ain't even worth arguing about. Go on, do what you got to do. So I went in the closet and I was hanging up some clothes. And I had this real nice pantsuit. And this pantsuit, I remember, I paid $135 for this pantsuit back then. And I was in there hanging up some clothes and stuff. I got to the pantsuit. And he coming there. And like I said, my husband's 6'7". So imagine the doorway is about that much space from his head to the top of the doorway. About that much space. If not, if he didn't have to duck, okay? My pants, I was in there and my pants was on the floor, so they had fell on the floor, so I was getting ready to pick them up. He stepped on my pants. He put his foot, he did it on purpose. He put his foot on my pants like he was butting out a cigarette and did his foot like this on my pants. And I looked at him. I say, I know you ain't got your foot on my $135 pants. He just doing like this, just rubbing them in got his foot just like, Okay, I'm in the closet. I can't go the other way. It's only one way out, and that was where he was. Y'all, I got on my tippy toes. I still wasn't tall enough. I was on my tippy toes, point my finger up like this. I said, if you don't get your blankety blank feet off my god bleep pants, I say, I know something. Mind you, I'm in the corner. I'm in the closet in the corner. He at the doorway, but one way in there. But baby, I took my leg and took a stance and I planted one leg behind the other one and I planted the other leg in the front. So I was like, I'm planted, I'm solid in this carpet. And that's when I took my hand and I got on my tiptoes and I started pointing. And he looking at me and I said, if you don't get out this doorway, it's going to be some slow walking and sad singing. Y'all notice I say that a lot because his mom was still living. I said, it's going to be some slow walking and sad singing. And they said, it ain't going to be my parents. It's going to be yours. I said, if you don't get out this blank doorway. So he left out he was hot. He was so mad. He come through the bedroom and he going to take the comforter and pulled it, and the mail flew everywhere like. So when he did that, I said, "Oh, he lost his mind." I said, "You know what? I done got mad all over again." So while I was in the closet, I took and put some sweatpants on and a sweatshirt. I went in my underwear drawer and I got my pea shooter out. I was so mad. I was so mad. I said, "Lord, I'm to put a slug in him." Then that angel said, "Don't do it. Just leave. It's not even worth it." So I got my purse, put my little pea shooter in my purse, and I have like a little baseball bat. And on the face of the baseball bat, my cousin played professional ball. He played for they won the World Series in 2007 for the Florida Marlins, and his face is on the little slugger. And I got my little slug. I say, "Well, if he tries something, I'm gonna just bet my way out of here. Cause if I don't, I'm gonna pum my way out." So I got my purse and I left. I opened the garage. He looking at me to see where I was going. Open the garage. I got in my car, put the garage door up, and he come to the door to see what I was doing. Put the garage door up, started my car up, and I backed out. Backed out, put the garage door down, and I left. So it was at night, and I knew my dad worked the night shift, and my dad had to go to work. So I didn't go over my parents' house right then. I waited. I went to Whataburger and they had a line. Thank God Whataburgers had a line. So I called my mama and I said, "Mama," I said, "I'm coming over there." And I say, "Is daddy gone?" And she say, "Why?" I say, "Is daddy gone? Just say yes or no." And she said, "Almost." "Yeah, almost." I said, "Okay. Do you want anything from Whataburger?" I'm in Whataburger, so if it's to give me something to eat. What she say, "Why?" I say, "I'll tell you when I get there." I say, I'll be over there. I say, "But I'm going to wait a little bit." I say, "You got a line." I say, "I'll wait a little bit and then I'll be over there." So I got us something to eat. Y'all, while I'm going down the road this way, and at this time, my daddy was driving my mom's older Cadillac, burgundy ragtop. Y'all remember the ragtops back in the day. My dad coming this side on the opposite. It was a medium, so he didn't see me, but I was paying attention, looking for him to make sure he was gone. And I'm going this way, and he coming up the road that way. He didn't see me, but I wanted to make sure I missed him. So I got to my mom's house. My mama say, "Girl, you ain't see your daddy?" I say, "Yeah, but he was already to the freeway, Mom." I said, "I saw him." I said, "I waited." I said, "I was timing it." I said, "I waited." I said, "I waited. I saw him at the freeway." I said, "He was coming." I said, "I was coming and he was going." She said, "Yeah, because I'm getting ready to say you just missed him." I said, "Yeah." So I got in the house and I said, and I got her something to eat and stuff. And I said, "Oh, Mama, before I do that, can I take your car out the garage and put mine in there?" She said, "Yeah." So I hurry up and I bagged her car out and I pulled mine in the garage, came in there. So we sat down, me and Mama was sitting down chilling and eating, and I had told her what had happened and stuff. She said, "Girl, didn't I tell you that man gonna eat soup off your head?" She say, "But do I also know that he's already been told don't put his hands on you?" And she saying, "Don't you ever put your hands on him either." She say, "Cause that's not right." She say, "I'ma always tell you what's right. You know, Mama gonna always tell you what's right." And she said, "Don't ever put your hands on him. You know, that don't give him a reason, so he won't have a reason to say, well, you hit him or you did it or whatever." And she said, "Well, I'm glad you just left and you came over here or whatever." So me and Mama laughed. Oh, we laughed. Because I told her, she said, "You act a fool over some pants." I said, "Well, Mama, it wasn't necessarily just the pants. It was the principle of it." I said, "He made me feel, um, I guess it kind of intimidated me because I was in the closet and I couldn't get out." And I said, and so I had to clown. So child, don't be doing no stuff like that. So, needless to say, I stayed at mama house that night. He didn't know where I was. He got up that next morning, before work. He passed by my mama house. Mama car was outside. Mine was in the garage. He never knew where I was because I didn't answer the phone. Ain't no use of you calling to see where I'm at and see what I'm doing. I ain't answering the phone. So you had to go to work. You had to be to work at 7 o'clock. I didn't have to be to work until 2 o'clock that evening. So I worked the evening shift. He worked the morning shift. So he never did know where I was. So when he left and I knew he was at work, I came home, showered, fixed my lunch, got dressed, and went to work. I ain't seeing later on to that night. I got home. This brother man had done cooked dinner. He had done cooked dinner and everything. Normally, if he cooked dinner, you can always rest assured it's gonna be some beans on the stove and some rice and some either pig ears or pigtails or pig feet or something. No, he hadn't cooked dinner. He know I like grilled steaks and stuff like that. Oh, it was grilled steak, baked potato, salad. Oh, he hadn't cooked. Again, he had apologized because he knew I hadn't did anything. He started the argument, so I was gonna finish it. But when I stayed out all night, he didn't know. He when we talked about it, he say, I didn't even sleep in the bed. I say, well, that ain't nothing new. You always like to sleep on the sofa. He say, no. But when you ain't come home that night, I ain't sleep in the bed none that night. I just couldn't sleep in the bed. I was wondering where you was at. I was wondering where I couldn't call your mom and them because then if I call your mom and them, I was gonna have to explain why you wasn't at home. What made you leave and all that. I said, I ain't never told him till this day as to where I was. He still don't know this day as to where I was. Child, I had some funny stories. It now when I look at it, it's all funny. But when stuff happened at the time, it don't be funny. It don't be funny when stuff is happening. And I'm glad I had sense enough to leave when I got mad all over again to diffuse the situation. Because a lot of times stuff don't happen like that. People come back on you and murder the whole entire house, or it's all the time on TV where you have a murder suicide. It'd be a murder suicide between husband and wife all the time. Domestic violence all the time. We never got to the point where we physically hit each other or anything of that nature. We didn't get to the point where we actually pulled stuff out on each other. He knew I had one, he had one because of the type of work he did, and he was an excellent shot. But we had never got to that point where we wanted to just do something like that to one another. Yeah, I had gotten real mad, but I knew that wasn't the route to take. So the best thing for me to do was one of us to leave. I didn't need the police to come to tell one of us to leave the house. I had sense enough to know one of us needed to leave the house. And at that time it was me because I hadn't got mad all over again. I don't know about him, but I had got mad all over again. And I was firing mad. I was firing mad. That devil was sitting over here and the angel was sitting over here. The angel told me to go on, leave the house. Devil told me, you don't need to leave. This your house too. I listened to the angel that night. I left. And when I got to my mama house, me and mama laughed and talked so much, and we just talked about all kind of stuff. And that's why I miss my mama so much right now because um, when you got a good mama gonna tell you right from wrong. They gonna tell you if you right, if you wrong, and they not gonna take your side just because you're their child. They gonna tell you when you wrong. And my mama was that kind of mama that she told us when we were wrong. And and we didn't raise y'all like that. We didn't Oh, you hate to hear that when they tell you something about we ain't raised you like that, or we didn't teach you that, and you ain't never seen us do that. Oh Lord, you hate that, especially when you know you up there cutting up and acting a fool. You just don't want to hear them words because they didn't. They didn't do stuff like that, and I thank God today for my parents that they instill good moral values in us and things of that nature. Now, not saying that other people parents didn't do that, because a lot of times you can teach your children right from wrong, what they should do and what they should, and they still were straight. But 9 times out of 10, when a lot of times when they straight, a lot of times they'll come back, but you don't know when they coming back. So my thing was we were good kids, and we got rewarded. So and to this day we still are like that. We are still like that. My brother treats his wife with the oh my God, if I could find, I would always say, if I could find somebody like my husband or my father, you talking about some good men that took care of their wife. I'm not saying mine didn't, because mine did take care of me. But he was raised different than what I was raised. His family dynamics was different than mine. So that makes a lot of difference. And then you have some opposite attract and things, and some try to do better and some don't. It's just that it don't. But my mom would always be so scared, talking about he would go eat soup off my head. But that wasn't the case. Hey Patricia, how you doing? Welcome over. February February is coming. What part of Africa do you reside in? Well, baby, February is coming. I don't reside in Africa. I reside in the United States of America, Texas to be exact. So I don't know, because I'm black. You assume that I'm from Africa, but I'm not. I am a U.S. citizen. Been here all my life. Sorry. Grinning cavity. This is so interesting. You're a great storyteller. But thank you. Subscribe to my channel. If you check out my replays, you'll hear some other stories that I've told. Uh, Artist Dudley. Hello. Thank you for the rose, artist. You new people that are positive and would like to hear more stories, I do have over 65 shorts and lives that I have posted. And if you would go and review them, and also subscribe to my channel, that way you'll know when I come back. I usually try to come every night and sometime during the day or whatever. If the people that are in my circle, if one of them are not on, then I'll schedule and try and come on. And if you hit the thumbs up button, that'll get me out in the algorithm. And y'all know that. Y'all been on YouTube. Y'all not new to YouTube. I'm doing good. I'm doing wonderful. I'm blessed. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm waiting on a call from my sister-in-law. We have been invited. Last weekend, I went to Louisiana we went to a funeral to this a childhood friend when we used to be in Louisiana. He passed on. He was 64. He passed on. He served in the Air Force and stuff like that. Uh, oh, God is good, ain't he? Ain't he good? Jesus is great. So then my sister-in-law got a call that they're having a Mardi Gras ball at the casino where we stayed at last weekend, which is in my the hometown where my parents grew up. And so they're having a Mardi Gras ball this weekend. And being that she plays more or spends more in the casino, she was given 2 free tickets to the Mardi Gras ball. So she asked me, did I want to go? And I said, yeah. She said, well, let's see Usually on weekends they do like a weekend blast where they give free rooms. Well, again, she plays more than me or spends more money than me. When her and my brother go, he don't play, she does. He just drink the free drinks. And she got like, she get weekends free. Anybody that ever been to the casino or ever go to the casino, you know, if the casino give you free rooms on a Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, you know that you just spent some money there. So she got free rooms. So when we went to the funeral, we were able to get one of the free rooms. So she got 2 tickets, but my brother has to work. She say, which is good. And she say, well, sis, you want to go? I say, well, yeah. She said, well, you know, we could probably take a flight. Um, we could probably take a flight, get us a cheap flight, and just rent us a small car. I say, oh, get one of. I say my relatives can pick us up at the airport or whatever. I say we don't have a problem with that. So today she got a call, ring, ring, ring. We want to offer you a free room from Friday, Saturday, Saturday, Sunday. So guess what? I'm just waiting because she has to work and work things out and things of that nature. But she's got free rooms for Friday, Saturday, Saturday, Sunday. We may not be able to leave tomorrow. I'm just waiting to see if she still want to go. But we could leave Saturday morning. Who has a new car? Me. Who can drive? Well, we both can, but 9 times out of 10, I will. So we got free tickets. The ticket includes entry to the ball, uh, a dinner, and then at midnight, breakfast buffet. So we'll get to eat twice, not spending no money, only to go down there because we really don't eat. We really don't eat that much. So we don't have to worry about buying something, going down there, get us some snacks or whatever. We'll eat dinner and then we'll have early morning breakfast. And then, of course, Sunday we'll sleep. And then Sunday we'll check out at 11 and we'll come on back to Houston. So um, I'll see if we get a chance. But meanwhile, I am I'm not able to have my moderators right now. Artists, you're gonna have to keep coming in. Uh, I ate leftovers today. You have to keep coming over here and let me get familiar with you, get to know you. Subscribe to my channel, be present, and then when I am able to get moderators, I will think about considering letting you be a moderator. But people that have been rocking with me and that I know longer, of course, they'll get first dibs at being a moderator. But you know, who knows? This is only my 4th week. As of yesterday, I have to get 1,000 subs and I have to get 4,000 hours. So I got a long way to go and a short time to get there. Well, not so much a short time, but I'm trying to at least get, being that this is the 4th week, I'm trying to get those 200 subscribers, 50 subscribers a week, 1,000 hours a month. That's a long shot, but I'm gonna put that into the atmosphere to see how I can work it or whatever. But I'm not gonna keep y'all. That's all for my story time for tonight. Again, if you're new to the channel, can you please consider subscribing? Watch some of my shorts, my videos. I do have other story times. Right now, I'm just content creating and I'm content about myself. I'm telling stories about my life and things that have gone. Um, some are very interesting, like tonight was more interesting than others. Not trying to talk down on my ex-husband. We're good friends till this day. We do check on each other to make sure that we are doing each other are doing okay. So um, that's, don't think I'm talking about him. Well, I am talking about him, but like I said, we good, but it don't matter because y'all don't know him. And even if you did know him, he'd tell you I'm a good person. He'll tell you I let a good one get away. So anyway, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Y'all watch my shorts, y'all watch my videos, Get me on out there in the algorithm, and I'ma try. I'm shy of my 1,000 hours for the month. So I am gonna try to do that by the end of the month. I'ma, try to set those goals or whatever. Hey, Mary Carter, how you doing? Yes, God is always good. God is great. How they say that God is good and all the time God is no. How is that saying? Now how can I forget the saying? All the time God is good and good and out and God is good. God is good all the time and all the time God is good. How could I forget that? How could I forget that? But the Lord knows my heart. He knows me. He knows me. So anyway, with that being said, I'm getting off of here. Yeah, I pray for a friend of mine. She lost her dad and her stepdad last Saturday, hours apart from each other. I am not a funeral person, but I have to put on my big girl, clothes, and I'm gonna have to go to the viewing tomorrow. Lord, y'all, Lord, I ain't strong like that, but um y'all pray for me, but y'all say a prayer for my friend, because that's something that she lost her dad and her stepdad the same day in a few hours apart. That's something I've never heard of it, and it's not saying that it don't happen. Stuff like that happen, all the time. I hear people losing grandparents within hours of each other because they're used to being together for so long, and I know it happens, but it was just kind of odd, and I wasn't able to be with her when it actually happened. I've been keeping in contact with her, talking with her and everything. So y'all just, y'all kind of keep in your prayer. Caribou, hey, how you doing? Thank you for the prayers. Thank y'all for the prayers. All right, this is Classy Lady. I am signing out. I love y'all. Continue to come on over and support me, and continue to come over to my channel. Y'all trolls, y'all are welcome too, because I'm gonna meet you right where you are. You got the right one. You got the right one. Okay. So thank y'all. God bless. Good night. And like we say over here in this sector, angels on everybody's pillows. Good night.